Nick Aldis just dropped a bombshell announcement on SmackDown that could destroy Cody Rhodes' championship reign before it even gets started. The general manager's decision has sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling world, and Cody's title is now in serious jeopardy. This changes everything. What's up, Suplex Rumble family? Welcome back to the channel where we break down the biggest moments, the most shocking announcements, and the decisions that change the landscape of professional wrestling. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell because you do not want to miss our deep dive analysis of the moments that have everyone talking. Today, we're breaking down Nick Aldis' massive announcement that has put Cody Rhodes' championship in danger. What did the SmackDown general manager reveal? Why does this threaten everything Cody's worked for? And what does this mean for the future of the blue brand? Let's dive in and break down every single detail. Before we get into what Nick Aldis announced, we need to understand the landscape of SmackDown right now and why this decision is so monumental. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the man who finished his story. After years of struggling, fighting, and clawing his way to the top, Cody finally achieved his dream. He became the world champion. This wasn't just any championship victory, folks. This was the culmination of a journey that captured the hearts of wrestling fans worldwide. Cody's championship reign represents something bigger than just wins and losses. It represents perseverance. It represents the idea that you can leave, reinvent yourself, and come back to achieve what was once thought impossible. His reign has been marked by incredible matches, emotional moments, and the kind of championship defense that reminds us why we love professional wrestling. But here's the thing about being champion: you have a target on your back. Every single wrestler on the roster wants what you have. The championship isn't just about glory, it's about legacy, it's about money, it's about being recognized as the best. And in professional wrestling, there's always someone ready to challenge for that spot. Now, enter Nick Aldis, the national treasure. A man who's had an incredible career as a wrestler, holding championships across multiple promotions and building a reputation as one of the most technical, most cerebral competitors in the business. But Nick's role has evolved. He's now the general manager of SmackDown, and that puts him in a position of immense power. As general manager, Aldis is responsible for making matches, enforcing rules, and ensuring that SmackDown runs smoothly. But he's also responsible for making decisions that can change careers, alter championship pictures, and create opportunities or obstacles for the wrestlers under his jurisdiction. And that's exactly what he just did to Cody Rhodes. The relationship between Cody and Nick Aldis is complex. On one hand, Aldis has to be fair and impartial as a general manager. On the other hand, he's a former champion himself who understands the politics of wrestling, the importance of creating compelling television, and the need to constantly shake things up to keep the audience engaged. What makes this announcement so significant is the timing. Cody's championship reign is still relatively new. He's building momentum, establishing himself as the champion, defending against challengers and proving that his victory wasn't a fluke. This should be Cody's time to shine, to solidify his legacy, to prove he belongs at the top. But Nick Aldis just threw a massive wrench into those plans. And when a general manager makes an announcement that threatens a champion's reign, you know it's going to create waves throughout the entire roster. So what exactly did Nick Aldis announce? Let's break down this bombshell piece by piece. Nick Aldis opened SmackDown with a serious, no-nonsense demeanor. This wasn't a casual announcement. You could see in his body language that what he was about to say was major. He addressed the SmackDown roster, the fans in attendance, and everyone watching around the world. Aldis began by acknowledging Cody Rhodes' championship victory and his subsequent defenses. He gave credit where credit was due. Cody has been a fighting champion, someone who's defended the title with honor and integrity. But then came the pivot, and you could feel the energy in the room shift. Nick Aldis announced that due to the competitive nature of SmackDown's roster, due to the number of legitimate contenders who deserve opportunities, and due to his responsibility to create the most exciting television possible, he was implementing a new stipulation regarding the championship. Here's where it gets intense. Aldis revealed that Cody Rhodes would be facing a series of challengers in rapid succession. Not just one number one contender, multiple top contenders, potentially over consecutive weeks. This isn't just about defending the title occasionally, this is about defending it constantly against the absolute best that SmackDown has to offer. But it gets even more complicated. Aldis hinted, and this is crucial, that some of these challenges might come with stipulations. Different match types, different rules, different environments. Essentially, Cody wouldn't just be defending his title, he'd be defending it under increasingly difficult circumstances. First, the physical toll. Championship matches aren't just regular matches, they're war. They're the highest intensity, most grueling encounters in professional wrestling. Now imagine having to go through that week after week after week, with minimal recovery time. Even the strongest champion would eventually break down. Second, the strategic challenge. Cody would need to prepare for multiple opponents simultaneously, each with different styles, different strengths, different game plans. You can't focus on one challenger when you don't know who's coming next or what type of match you'll be facing. Third, the psychological pressure. This announcement essentially tells Cody that his championship reign is under constant threat. There's no time to celebrate, no time to rest, no time to breathe. It's defend or lose, over and over again. Nick Aldis justified this decision by saying it's about creating opportunities. He mentioned that SmackDown has the most talented roster in wrestling history, and that these competitors deserve their shot at glory. He positioned this as being fair to the roster, giving multiple people chances they've earned. But here's what makes this so controversial. Is this really about fairness, or is this about testing Cody Rhodes to his absolute limit? Is Aldis truly being an impartial general manager, or is he stacking the deck against the champion? Cody's reaction to this announcement was telling. You could see the calculation happening in his eyes. He's too smart to complain publicly, that would make him look weak, like he's afraid of challenges. But you could also see the concern, the realization that his championship reign just became exponentially more difficult. The announcement concluded with Aldis naming the first challenger in this gauntlet, and folks, it's someone who poses a serious threat to Cody's title. Someone who has the skills, the motivation, and the hunger to dethrone the American Nightmare. The wrestling world immediately exploded with reactions. Social media went crazy. Wrestling analysts started breaking down Cody's chances. Fans began debating whether this was fair or whether the general manager was overstepping his authority. Because here's the truth, Nick Aldis just put Cody Rhodes in a position where championship retention becomes almost impossible. And that's exactly what makes this announcement so dangerous. Now let's talk about the specific threats this announcement creates for Cody Rhodes' championship reign, because this isn't just about one match, it's about a system designed to challenge the champion in unprecedented ways. Professional wrestling is brutal on the human body. A single championship match can take weeks to recover from. You're dealing with bumps, impacts, the physical strain of performing at the highest level. Now multiply that by consecutive weeks of championship defenses. Even if Cody wins every single match, his body will accumulate damage. Injuries become more likely. Fatigue sets in. Reaction time slows down. At some point, even the most talented wrestler becomes vulnerable simply because their body can't keep up with the demands being placed on it. And the challengers? They're fresh. They've had time to prepare, to train, to study Cody's recent matches and identify weaknesses. They're coming in at 100% while Cody's operating at maybe 70 or 80%. That's a huge advantage. Cody Rhodes is known for his ring intelligence. He's a student of the game who prepares meticulously for his opponents. But how do you prepare when you're facing multiple opponents in quick succession, potentially with different match stipulations? Let's say Cody's defending against a powerhouse one week, he prepares for power moves, works on counters to power-based offense, develops a game plan around speed and technical wrestling. But then the next week, he's facing a high flyer or a submission specialist. Completely different preparation needed. Completely different strategy required. This constant shifting of preparation puts enormous pressure on Cody. He can't specialize, he has to be ready for anything. And in wrestling, being a jack of all trades often means being a master of none. Specialists have advantages in specific match types, and Cody's being forced to face specialists on their terms. The mental game in wrestling is just as important as the physical. Champions need confidence, belief in themselves, the mental fortitude to overcome adversity. But what happens when you're constantly told that you're about to face another threat, another challenge, another opportunity to lose everything? This announcement creates a psychological environment where Cody can never feel secure. Even after a successful defense, there's no celebration, just preparation for the next threat. That's mentally exhausting. It wears down even the strongest minds.